Tonight on News 5 Live, big changes in Channel 5's management as the station says goodbye to Amalia Mai and welcomes a new CEO. A Belizean boxer is murdered while there is a mid-afternoon shooting in Belize City. And Minister Oscar Mira says there is a zero-tolerance policy for sexual assault in the Belize Defense Force. Details of these stories and more coming up in tonight's newscast.
It's a fact that you can access unlimited services with Smart. Tired of being measured or cut off when you need to be connected? It's a fact that when you sign up for Smart's Plus plan, you get unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data. And it's a fact that you can sign up with your group of up to 5 members for Smart's Share plans and up to 40 members for Smart's Enterprise plans for unlimited talk, text, and data. Smart has the true unlimited plans. That's a fact. Be smart and live smart.
Let's all work together to be germ busters and keep each other safe by stopping the spread of germs that can make us sick. Remember to wash your hands often, especially after using your devices or toys and before and after eating. If you don't have soap and water, use a hand sanitizer. Make sure to put it all over your hands, front and back, and let it dry. Don't wipe it off. Believe Electricity Limited. We care about your safety.
love is a connection that should last forever. This February, NextGen is sharing the love with amazing promo deals for everyone. Reconnect or install with NextGen for free. Sign up for our affordable cable and high-speed internet plans and get 1 month free on your acquired service. But that's not all. New and reconnecting customers can now receive 1 month free MyTV subscription when you sign up with us anytime in February. Some restrictions apply. For more information on our promotions and services, contact us at 0800-222-5388 or via our social media platforms. NextGen, powered by Central TV and Internet.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Tuesday, February 16th. I am Sabrina Daly. Here at News 5, we don't normally cover ourselves, but tonight we have some big news to share with our viewers. You may be aware that Channel 5's CEO Amalia Mai recently took up a post as CEO in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. What you may not know is that today she handed over the reins of the company to our new CEO. Drumroll please, Marlene Cuellar. It was a bittersweet morning for us here at the station at the close of one chapter, but beginning of another. Tonight, News 5's other personal change, the new, or should we say returning, news director, Carla Huschner, takes a look at Mai's accomplishments over the last 13 years and finds out what Marlene has planned for the station now that she will be transitioning from in front of the camera to full-time Chief Executive Officer.
It looked like that, yes. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Amalia Mai took over as CEO in 2008 when Managing Director Stuart Crone retired. She made her mark on the station through new programming like the magazine-style morning show Open Your Eyes, and expanding the entertainment lineup to include dance competitions, various versions of KTV, including Latino version for Spanish-speaking and bilingual viewers. Under Mai's watch, Channel 5 also saw new shows such as Great Belize Cooking, The Belize Apprentice, and the popular From Yes to I Do. Mai says it was critical to not only maintain the station's award-winning standards and continue serving on the Caribbean Broadcasting Union board, but for Channel 5 to become even more competitive internationally.
We broke all the ceilings, we shattered all the glasses together, so that's a big satisfaction. Regionally wise, winning all the awards, you know, beating companies like with huge investments like in Jamaica, in Trinidad, huge populations like in Cuba, smaller populations the size of Belize in the Caribbean. But we were always on top. Every August, my greatest pleasure was going to the CBU meeting. And then there were awards in between, you know, that were not necessarily in the region. But certainly the Channel 5 and the staff here have always stood out.
There were difficult times too, like when Mai led the company through the 2-week ban on all government advertising and access to government officials imposed on Channel 5 in 2010. More recently, COVID-19 and the accompanying decrease in advertising and increase in restrictions on usual news coverage have been challenging, even though no staff had to be terminated. But COVID did force a realization about the future direction of the station.
COVID is certainly one of the most difficult times in the company. The pandemic has taught us that traditional broadcasting journalism is no longer the same. We have had to look at other areas where we can be able to still continue the work. Streaming services, for example, digital, that is the way forward now.
Today she thanked Channel 5 staff for their support and the board of directors too.
And I had the greatest opportunity to also have a wonderful board of directors, that we were in sync Yeah, I want to pay tribute to them because aside from the work that our staff put in, there was the other level of management that it made my life easier to working with the board. Really nice people to work with, and what I've learned I take with me now. Yeah, Marlene is taking over now as of today, so I want to wish her all the best.
Incoming CEO Marlene Cuellar has been a very public face for the station, but she's also been active behind the scenes as a key part of the management team for almost a decade. This award-winning broadcaster is a natural choice to lead the company.
I first joined Channel 5 in 2006, so I actually started under the first manager, Stuart Crone. Channel 5 will be approaching its 30th anniversary this year. That means I'll be here for just about half of it. And I am most excited to be able to move this television station into what is the new era. The way we communicate and the way we get our information has changed dramatically. And we're starting to see our viewers and people who follow our programs demand that more and more. It's ensuring that we still reach our audience that are reliant on traditional broadcasting, but also ensuring that we are preparing for the next phase that we know is to come.
Reporting for News 5, Carla Husner.
Viewers may see less and less of Marlene on air in the coming days as she transitions to her CEO role. The staff of Channel 5 would like to publicly thank Amalia Mai for her long service to the station, and our viewers welcome Marlene Cuellar at the helm. This afternoon, 31-year-old Janine Lamb and 38-year-old Eugene Thompson were shot near the intersection of Plews and Bishop Streets in Belize City. Thompson was hit multiple times, including once to the neck and thigh, while Lamb was shot in the right side to his buttocks and ankle. Police say information is that around 2:15, a fair-complexioned man on a bicycle rode up to a yard on Plews Street and fired shots at Thompson. Both victims are hospitalized and in stable condition. He was a former boxing athlete who represented the Jewel internationally, but on Tuesday night, Jerome McLaurin was executed in Belize City. The callous murder was carried out in front of McLaurin's mother and other residents from the neighborhood. Who wanted him dead and why remains a mystery tonight. But News 5's Dwayne Moody went looking for answers.
Just before 8 o'clock, the youth from the neighborhood had just concluded playing a basketball game here at this residence on Cleghorn Street in Belize City when a gunman rode up on a motorcycle, entered the yard and walked up to an unsuspecting 21-year-old Jerome McLaurin who was sitting there on that scooter. The gunman opened the barrage of bullets at him, ending his life in front of his mother.
I heard the cycle pass, the cycle stopped by the lamppost, and when the cycle stopped by the lamppost, the young man walked in at the yard, and we just hear a shot start of fire, and I throw myself back away and lift up my foot because, you know, I don't want nothing catch me, but not knowing that I'm my son. So I run out, and when I look, I see that my son, at this time, the young man had a silver gun bow that they take it and stuck it in a pants waist.
Even as she realized that her son was the victim, Sharon Kakam shouted at his killer as he struggled to escape from the area.
Like, you shot my son, you shot my son, you killed my son. At this time, he up on a cycle. They try to start the cycle for make this cycle go, but the 3 times he try start it, the cycle failed, and the last time when he pressed for the cycle go, the cycle gone with her. I know see face, I know, because he have on the mask with a fire to ya, and I give you understand one red helmet. So I never see face, I only see body structure.
That cycle, we are told, is in police custody, but like the family, police remain perplexed as to why McLaurin was targeted.
Yes, we have a few incidents with McLaurin, but not to that extent that we suspect that he has been involved in other criminal activities.
Any possible motive in his murder?
We spoke to different persons that were there and also family members to inquire from them if at any time Mr. McLaurin had been threatened or anything that he had gone through with anybody for the past days or maybe the past year, but up to now we cannot give you a definite motive as to why he was shot.
Even as she mourns the death of her son, Kakum is holding strong onto her faith. In forgiving McLaren's killer, she says that she will look out for him.
That person who shot my son take away something good for me. They take away my picnic. And because I didn't take away my picnic, I adopt that person who shot my son as my son. You are my son. I know you will see this later. I just to make you know, you take my son where God give me now, I take you as my son. I want to pray for you just like I used to pray for you morning, noon, and night. That will be my job. And if they find you, I want to visit you in the prison. You don't want to take my visitation, but I come. I know I stop until you accept it and talk to me, because I forgive you.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
There was a sad ending on Monday for the loved ones of a man who had been missing since February 3rd. Rafael Garrido remains were discovered in a shallow grave between miles 51 and 52 on the Hummingbird Highway. While the family now has closure, they are looking for answers and justice for Rafael.
Then he was seen in between the area, between Orange Walk and Ladyville area, so that leaves the family, we don't know which to search. So we're just preparing for the worst, and just now I saw something that I've never seen in my life. It was really heartbreaking, and it made me realize how many more parents will have to cry, how much more tears will have to be shed before we literally start to say justice in Belize.
I need justice for my son. Then I broke me, they make me stronger. Anybody out there will kill my son, now I know that he dead. I aware of everything, but you know something? The pain, the hurt, everything make me stronger for my son. I want the death for my son. I want bury and thank God for that. I find the body and I want to carry on home. But this is just the beginning, because I know I sleep. I need justice for my son, and I need the police to do their job. I don't care who they out there, Mr. Chester, whosoever. I need answers about my son, and now that the time.
Coming up, UDP leader Patrick Fauver says that they have a strong slate for the municipal elections.
Hello, friends. This is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "And now behold, I go bound in the Spirit unto Jerusalem, not knowing the things that shall befall me there, save that the Holy Ghost witnesseth in every city, saying that bonds and afflictions abide me. But none of these things move me. Neither count I my life dear unto myself, so that I might finish my course with joy in the ministry which I have received of the Lord Jesus, to testify of the gospel of the grace of God." For the last 15 years of his life, British evangelist Leonard Ravenhill and I were the dearest of friends. No one ever influenced me more because of his prayer life and deep commitment to God. I shall never forget his being in his office on one occasion when he related to me that he had met a great Christian man at a church in Dallas whom the pastor highly trusted, who could manage his savings he had put aside for later years. Sometime later, I was back in his home when he shared with me that his friend had lost everything he had entrusted to him. I could detect no animosity in his voice or demeanor, no sense of fear for his loss, and no desire for recompense. I remember turning to him and saying, "Dr. Ravenhill, does this not bother you?" Without batting an eye or a quiver in his voice, he took the high road that the Apostle Paul took when confronted with what lay ahead of him, and humbly said, "None of these things move me." Don't allow Satan to threaten your victories for tomorrow. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
We all know the importance of running water and proper drainage in your home. That's why we rely on a fully functional plumbing system. At Benny's, we have all the plumbing supplies and accessories you need. Our pipes, fittings, valves, and adapters are made from durable quality materials. Remember to wash your hands with clean running water from your faucet. We have kitchen and bathroom faucets in various styles and finishes. Whether for installation or maintenance, make sure to use recommended PVC cleaner, solvent, and Teflon tape to fix or prevent leaks. we also have the tools to get the job done. For all your residential, commercial, or industrial plumbing needs, shop at Benny's. Quality and savings.
DG and the National Bank of Belize are proud to partner with the Government of Belize to facilitate the disbursement of Belize COVID-19 cash transfer funds via our safe and easy-to-use mobile pays platform. After getting approval that you will be a beneficiary of the relief funds, you will be informed by SMS when your monthly payment has been deposited to your mobile pays account, which Digistore or National Bank branch you were assigned to, and when you can go in to collect. You must bring along the phone that the notification was sent to in order to present your account number and to receive your validation code and SMS receipt. You must also bring along a valid Social Security card. After your information is verified, you will receive a validation code which you are to give to the agent. The agent will hand over the full amount of funds allotted to you for that month, and you will receive an SMS receipt with a unique number for that transaction. Digi and the National Bank of Belize are committed to the development of innovative services for the benefit of all Belizeans.
As one of the largest cable and internet providers in Belize, CBC strives to provide our customers with the highest standards of quality, value, and service in all aspects of cable TV and internet. Monitoring our systems closely, our technicians combine creative planning and state-of-the-art technology with years of experience and training to develop and provide the most reliable and advanced cable and internet service to exceed your expectations. For CBC and our team of talented engineers, technicians, and customer service representatives, delivering less than the very best is never an option.
Nomination Day has officially kicked off the municipal election fervor. News 5 spoke with United Democratic Party leader Patrick Faber on Monday about the Belize City slate and his party's ability to assemble some strong candidates even during difficult times.
That the fact that our party is so close after the kind of defeat that we received in November, from the mere fact that we're able to put together 9 excellent slates, shows that the UDP is not at all dead. This party, in fact, is alive and kicking. I think this Belize City slate in particular is spectacular. Urson Pickard brings a great deal of leadership capacity to this team, and he will do so to Belize City as well. And in fact, the team, very well balanced team, will also contribute to Belize to taking back the city as they've put it, or building back the city as they have put it. So yes, these elections are important, very important for our party. It is a step forward, if you will, to us convincing the wider Belizean electorate, not only those in municipalities, but even those in the rural areas of our country, that in fact the UDP continues to be a viable option. But not only a viable option, I think many Belizeans this early in the game are also now realizing that the UDP still is the best option. And I would bet you that if they had an opportunity right now, because of all the regret, because of all the talent that the new Prime Minister has, we would get a shot. We would, in fact, the Belizean people would make a different choice than they did in November. I will concede that it is a very difficult time financially in the political arena for our party, but we know how to make that work.
In our coverage of the lead-up to the municipal elections, Monday's nomination day in Dangriga started with a People's United Party motorcade. The PUP's Dangriga 7 were ushered to Town Hall, where mayoral candidate, former Deputy Compal Robert Mariano, and his councillor candidates were nominated. Later in the day, the incumbent Mayor Francis Humphreys, who is seeking a 3rd term as mayor, told News 5 why he is contesting the municipal elections.
When I decided to recontest the office of the mayor, It was with the determination and the conviction that first of all it was the right thing to do under the prevailing circumstances, and secondly, with the team that I anchor, we are confident that our people will see the goodness that we bring to leadership in our community, the productivity we have proven, the courage with which we face challenges, the commitment with which we solve them, and the compassion with which we treat every single citizen of this community.
The Belize Mayors Association members wrapped up their term in office with a final meeting on Friday in Belmopan. The Ministry of Local Government recognized those mayors who are not contesting the upcoming elections. These include former Mayor Kevin Bernard, now Minister of the National Assembly and Minister of Youth, Sports and E-Governance, who has served as Mayor of Orange Walk Town since 2012. Others who have given awards for their service include Mayor Khalid Bilal of the Belmopan City Council, Mayor Daniel Guerrero of the San Pedro Town Council, Mayor Ashton McKenzie of Punta Gorda Town, and Mayor Marconi Sosa from Benque Viejo. Minister Bernard thanked the mayors on behalf of Minister of Local Government Oscar Requena, who supports critical municipal development initiatives that have been on the table for the last few years. The award ceremony was held at the Bullfrog Inn. It was only the first day, but what has been revealed so far during the first sitting of the Commission of Inquiry is being described in most quarters as incredible. The details of the fire sale of government assets under the Barrow administration between October 2019 and November 2020 stunned listeners and viewers, even as the Commission probes further to determine whether, in fact, there was wrongdoing by anyone involved. In the first round of questioning, former Prime Minister Dean Barrow, Financial Secretary Joseph Waite, and Head of Vehicle Care Unit Ruperto Vicente appeared before the Commission. Minister of Home Affairs Karim Musa tuned in and was floored by the revelations, especially given the tough economic times compounded by the COVID pandemic.
You are perfectly right, Dwayne. I was not in the least bit surprised by what came out this morning, but at the same time, it just goes to show you how heartless and crass the last administration was. We were actually going through the most severe time in our country in terms of our economy. We're going through a pandemic, 132% of GDP. And they had time to facilitate special deals for themselves, for their ministers, for their CEOs, for comptrollers, all of these people getting very special sweetheart deals. And to me, it's a very heartless and absurd move on their part, and shows how out of touch they were. To see the former Attorney General, the former Minister of Police, say that he left behind a healthy economy for us, when he himself is directly contributing to the financial losses of this country by purchasing the equipment of this government. We're talking laptops and refurbished, or what they call it, reinforced chairs that were made specially for him. He's not the only big person in Belize, so why does he get that deal? Why is he the one that's going to get this special deal? So it's absolutely incredible that they have the nerve to then come on national TV and say they left us in a good economic position, when we all know that is a lie.
So charges left, right and center for those who...
Well, we will have to see the outcome of the Commission of Inquiry and the recommendations, but certainly at the very least they are heartless, they are absurd, and I would want to venture to say criminal.
Viewers can tune in for the Commission of Inquiry's next session on February 25th. Around 5:30 this evening, there was an accident on Chetumal Street in Belize City, just a stone's throw away from the police station in that area. A man traveling on a bicycle can be seen on the ground, visibly injured, as police and residents came out to render assistance. At this time, the extent of his injuries are unknown, but he was taken to the KHMH for treatment. BDF officials have a strong message for those who would harass or assault other officers. Details on the zero tolerance policy after the break.
Todos estamos en riesgo de contraer la COVID-19, por lo que es importante reconocer rápidamente los signos y síntomas de la infección. Los síntomas más comunes son fiebre, tos seca y cansancio o fatiga. Algunas personas también pueden tener dolor de garganta, dolores y molestias, congestión nasal o diarrea. Pero algunas personas también han reportado conjuntivitis, dolor de cabeza, pérdida de sabor u olor, sarpullido en la piel o un cambio en el color de los dedos de las manos o los pies. Los signos de alarma de emergencia que requieren atención médica inmediata son dificultad extrema para respirar, dolor constante y severo o presión en el pecho, confusión, dificultad para hablar o moverse, labios, rostro, dedos de las manos o de los pies azulados. Para mayor información, llame al 0800-664-2273. Protejamos nuestra salud.
Es un hecho que puedes obtener servicios ilimitados con Smart. ¿Cansado de que se corte la línea cuando más necesitas estar conectado? Es un hecho que cuando te suscribes al plan de Smart Plus, obtienes llamadas, textos y datos ilimitados. Y también es un hecho que te puedes suscribir con un grupo de 5 miembros al plan Smart Share y hasta 40 miembros al plan Smart Enterprise para llamadas, textos y datos ilimitados. Smart tiene los verdaderos planes ilimitados. Es un hecho. Sé Smart y vive de forma Smart.
Are you traveling? Effective January 26, all passengers traveling internationally will need to get tested no more than 3 days before you travel to the United States and show your negative result to the airline before you board your flight. Here at Caring Hands Clinic in San Pedro, we administer the antigen test, frequently referred to as a rapid test. Our products are CDC compliant and FDA approved. Testing has never been this easy. With our highly certified and licensed medical staff, we provide you with an accurate test result in minutes, making your experience fast, safe, and easy. To book your appointments today, contact us on any of our hotlines at 671-TEST or 672-TEST, 226-FAST, or our Vonage line at 305-420-6203. Book your appointments online at www.belizecovidtest.com. Caring Hands Clinic Antigen Test Center. We're pleased to serve you.
What a beautiful morning in Popsville. Time to check the crops. Uh-oh, the insects are back. Farmer Ricky plans to double his dosage to get rid of these pests once and for all. Oh no, no more insecticide. Well, off to the store we go. Hey, it's good old Joe.
Good morning, Joe. I'd like to get 4 bottles of Compound V, please, and double dosing to fight back the insects. Compound V, you said? It doesn't sound familiar. Let me see what you have.
Ricky, where did you get this product? It doesn't have proper label information and could be filled with highly hazardous chemicals called persistent organic pollutants. You should really get one that's POPs free, which is safer and approved for pest control. Ricky, it's time we talked about the dangers of misusing highly toxic pesticides. Some pesticides contain highly hazardous ingredients that can harm you and your loved ones if handled incorrectly. So when we improperly store pesticides, it can affect our health in the long and short term. To be safe, make sure to remember these following tips to avoid unnecessary chemical exposure. It's important to always read your label fully before using any treatment on your crops. To avoid dangerous contact with pesticides, including airborne insecticides, make sure to wear appropriate personal protective equipment. Apply the recommended chemical dosage and use far away from human contact and from active winds. To avoid cross-contamination, make sure to follow these simple steps to dispose of pesticide containers. And no matter what you do, don't throw it in any old waste bin. Always make sure to triple rinse, puncture and store separately for proper disposal. And for an even safer approach to pesticide use, consider switching to organic farming and other integrated pest management processes. For more information on how to dispose of hazardous pesticides, contact your local waste management agency or visit stopthepops.com for more details. Sometimes danger lurks where you least expect it. The more you know, the healthier you can grow.
Also, during nomination day in Belmopan, News 5 caught up with Belmopan area representative and junior minister in the Ministry of National Defense and Border Security, Oscar Mira. We asked him about reports of sexual assault cases at Price Barracks. A retired soldier himself, Minister Mira says that he has a zero-tolerance policy for these crimes.
It is as if though the previous government just gave up on the BDF, and we are starting working in ensuring that when it comes to sexual harassment, we have a zero tolerance on sexual harassment. And we have indicated that to the General and to the leadership of the BDF and the Coast Guard, that is not going to be tolerated. That whenever one of the security forces does or is accused of wrongdoing, that the law will be followed, and if they need to be criminally charged, that they do so. So we are not going to be here trying to defend anyone, We all know, and we have in our code of conduct, how you should be behaving, and we will not tolerate at all any sexual harassment, be it for anyone in the forces.
The Ministry of Blue Economy and Civil Aviation, after consultation with the Fisheries Department, announced last Friday that the close of the lobster season has been extended for another 2 weeks to February 28th. The decision was made after a request was tabled by the fishermen cooperatives for an adjustment of the fisheries regulation. The new changes in the closed season are now aligned with regional regulations implemented by the Organization for Central American Fisheries and Aquaculture Sector, better known as OSPESCA. But a perennial issue facing fishers is that of coastal piracy. And over the past month, there have been a number of reports of armed robberies at sea in southern Belize. Minister Oscar Mira weighs in on efforts to ensure the safety of fishermen during these times.
We have been getting our briefing from the commandant of the Coast Guard, and we have given him the support that he needs in terms of resources, in terms of extra fuel to ensure that he escorts and does the patrols that are needed in the area. It has been an annual occurrence, I believe, as far as I've been told. Whenever the lobster season is coming to a close, and the fishermen are bringing their produce, there's this flare-up in piracy at sea. It is an issue that we're going to tackle head-on. We are also working with our partners to ensure that the other stakeholders have a say in this as well. So it's not just a responsibility of the Coast Guard, but the police is also working on it, and they have been gathering a lot of information and intelligence on what is happening, and I think we pretty much have a grip on what is happening there at sea.
The Ministry of Health's COVID-19 daily report for today, February 16, shows that there are 13 new COVID-19 infections. The latest numbers show that Stan Creek, Cayo, and Belize recorded the highest number of cases. Here's a look at the numbers from Claudette Dakers-Norales of the Ministry of Health.
A total of 421 samples were tested. Out of this, 13 samples have resulted positive for COVID-19. There are 129 individuals newly under investigation. There are 14 new recoveries to report. Today, we also report that 13 infected persons are hospitalized. Unfortunately, 2 of these individuals are being treated at the intensive care unit. There are no deaths to to report. The cumulative report we are presenting is from March 2020, when we had our first case. The new total of active cases now stands at 193. These are those persons who have been confirmed and are within the time frame to transmit the virus.
This afternoon, the Ministry of Human Development, Families and Indigenous Peoples Affairs announced the return of the COVID-19 relief program, but this time under the name Belize COVID-19 Cash Transfer Program. The ministry has partnered with the National Bank of Belize Limited, Digi, and the Belize Social Investment Fund to provide short-term emergency cash to 21,500 households. The beneficiaries will receive payments of $300 every 2 months for a 6-month period. In a release issued this evening, the ministry says that 60,000 applications are being reviewed, and enrollment into the program will be done in 8 phases. For those successful applicants, payment dates will be sent through an SMS text blast. The mobile pays solution developed by Digi will allow beneficiaries to cash out their funds using their mobile phones or through a unique code. Beneficiaries will be notified of their payment amount, when and where to collect via text messages. The program launches on February 17th. In other COVID-19 news, the San Ignacio Community Hospital has received a donation of 100 face shields. The gift to Belize is the result of a collaboration between a student from the University of North Carolina Charlotte campus and Nahir Habet, engineering manager of Atrium Health Musculoskeletal Institute in North Carolina. Habet was the student's advisor on a separate biochemical project, and Habet told him about the need for protective gear for frontline healthcare workers. Nahir Habet is the son of area representative of Cayo Northeast Minister Orlando Habet, who handed over the protective gears to hospital administrator Lisbeth Guerrera. Coming up after the break, farming in a protected area. Andrea Polanco takes a look at how cacao production in biodiversity coexists in southern Belize.
Currently, we're using Smart Elite Vibe calling plan. We use it interbranch, we use it to call outside, and we also use it to call internationally. It's far cheaper than what we used to have before. Our equipment are new, PBX box is new. So the PBX is very good because I can call to my Sartaneja branch, I can call to my Kikaka branch, I can call to San Pedro branch, and there's no cost using the PBX. Actually right now, since we're in different locations, I can call main office from where I am at a no cost using the PBX system. I would recommend it, sure I would, especially the big enterprises who has a lot of employees. There's a lot of reduction in costs, 50% of saving. But that on a year, it's a lot of money that we're saving. Money that we could return to our members, since we give back dividend to our members.
Visit our showroom or call 670-6710 to find out how Smart's corporate plan and PBX systems can benefit your business. Consultation is free.
In response to COVID-19, the government of Belize has implemented strict guidelines on persons to practice social distancing to reduce the spread and risk of getting COVID-19. Practicing social distancing is when one maintains a greater than usual distance away from another person. In public health, it is a practice to prevent sick persons from coming in close contact with healthy people. Recent studies are showing that social distance of 3 feet or more decreases the exposure of COVID-19. Before these restrictions, a person with COVID-19 could infect 2.5 persons in 5 days, 406 persons in 30 days. When you put into practice measures to reduce the exposure activities by half of that one infected person, in 5 days you would possibly only infect 1.25, 30 days, 15 persons. Reduce the exposure of that infected person by 75%, in 5 days you infect 0.625, in 30 days, 2.5 persons. Remember, the virus does not move on its own, people move it. The more space between you and others, the harder it is for the virus to spread. A health and wellness message from your Ministry of Health.
In partnership with the British High Commission.
Hola, Tony.
Hey, Kevin, ¿qué onda? ¿Qué pasa?
Nada, le vine a buscar porque necesito comprar más mercancías de vasos y platos desechables para mi tienda de comestible. Me estoy quedando sin esas cosas.
No, hombre, fíjate que desde el 15 de abril no puedo importar nada de eso. Y se me acaba de terminar todo lo que tenía hace como 3 semanas.
Oye, pero nunca has estado sin esas cosas. ¿Qué está pasando?
Mira esto. Esta es la nueva ley que prohíbe todo el uso de plásticos no reutilizables. Esos son vasos, platos, cucharas, tenedores, todo eso. Desde 15 de abril de este año no he podido importar nada de eso. A partir del 15 de enero del 2021 nadie puede fabricarlo. 15 de abril 2021 nadie lo puede vender. Y a partir del 14 de julio del 2021 si alguien te agarra con eso, te multan.
Híjole, no sabía eso. Necesito cambiar algunas cosas. Les diré a mis clientes por qué esas cosas ya no están disponibles. Gracias, Antonio.
Así es, cuídate, man.
The area is called the Maya Golden Landscape, and it's the site of an exciting partnership between those working to maintain Belize's healthy, natural ecosystems and southern cacao farmers. News 5's reporter Andrea Polanco recently joined personnel from the Yashe Conservation Trust and the Ministry of Sustainable Development to see how farming in this protected area is yielding results for both Mayan families and local biodiversity.
Deep in the Maya Golden Landscape, a forested area that expands from the mountains to the coast of Belize, there is important conservation work taking place. But there are also farmers whose livelihoods are thriving inside this forest. It's a partnership led by Yashe Conservation Trust, where natural resources are being used sustainably to support Mayan families across several communities. Yashe introduced the farmers to cacao-based agroforestry in the jungles of the Maya Golden Landscape to share new ways of farming where forests don't have to be cut down.
Since I started to plant, then now I see the benefit of it because I was marketing and I was use it for my home use. I make chocolate and I do my chocolate drink and everything it's benefit me.
Unlike current cacao trees, you don't have to plant year after year so that you can harvest. Cacao trees, you just need to maintain them, chop under them, and then you'll have them for 20-25 years.
And that's how Yashe Conservation Trust implemented the first agroforestry concession within a protected area. It's a model that shows that conservation and economic activity can coexist harmoniously. Yashe took Minister Orlando Habet and CEO Dr. Kenrick Williams of the Ministry of Sustainable Development for a tour of the Maya Mountain North Forest Reserve on Friday to show how their partnership with farmers of the Trio Farmers Cacao Growers Association is thriving. The 936-acre concession is in its 5th year of cacao productivity, and this has changed the quality of life for all the farmers involved and helps in the conservation of biodiversity in the area.
We have been promoting is really harmony between nature and human development for the benefit of both. In this case, the trial farmers have rights access to land within the reserve, of course with rules and regulations to follow, but at the same time they're conserving what is already there, because Maya Mountain Nert Forest Reserve was without management for quite an amount of years. So we had a vast amount of deforestation and clearances happening and things a little bit out of control. So when he actually took management in 2015, we found that the reserve was a good way to enhance livelihoods, but at the same time conserving the biodiversity that is already there. So we started not only with the production of cacao, but also the monitoring that occurs. The farmers are basically generating income. We're talking about 30 farmers that just didn't have any land. You're talking about 30 farmers that were just learning how to grow cacao, to now farmers that are actually producing a little over 30,000 pounds of cacao from that given area. So if they sell $1 a pound for that volume of cacao, they're actually making a good amount of money that could actually help them in terms of sending their kids to school, providing food to the table, etc. So I think that it's making a big difference.
Another farming system that Yashe Conservation Trust introduced to the protected area is the use of inga trees to help improve soil quality. It's an alternative to slash and burn farming, where farmers plant agricultural crops between rows of inga trees. It's a farming method that increases yields and reduces the cutting down of fertile forests. Farmer Pablo Salam uses this alternative farming system.
For the past 4 years, I have started to work with Yashe. I've planted inga. I do not know if you have heard about inga. Inga are the cropping that you plant on rows, or all depending on the soil, or all depending on the terrain that you have. Whenever you plant that inga, then that's there where whenever it's reached a certain level, so certain years, 3 years, then right there you cut down your trees, and from there you will start to plant your cassava, your whatever your sweet pepper, other vegetables that you're planting on that road. So beans, corn. So corn is doing a lot better in the inga ali cropping farming system. Yes, so that's what I've seen.
According to Chief Executive Officer Dr. Kenrick Williams of the Ministry of Sustainable Development, this model of balancing conservation efforts and income-generating activities within protected areas is an example that has potential to be replicated. Williams says it is a different approach that indicates that these protected lands don't always have to be closed off to communities.
I think that the YCT model, where they integrate, these concessions, the cacao concession in this case, and the small perennial crops within the forest, is exemplary, because again, the intent is not to lock up these protected areas so that people and communities don't benefit. I think that was the historical idea of these protected areas. Now, we want to show this model, a model that have immediate benefits for communities, social benefits, economic benefits to women, to marginalized communities, to poor communities, that there is, there's income potential directly that we can get for that. We're looking to scale this up at, other protected areas that allows for that type of management approach. Because again, given the economic times, we have to be innovative in the approach. And so it was important to come and see this type of agroforestry application and to see how we can apply this across the country so that communities get direct benefits from our protected areas.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Andrea Polanco.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.